Oh shit, bro, there's a guy on an R-Giga right next to me.
Why you bullying me?
And I got stunned off by a Microraptor, bro. West west or east east. No, this is a tamed Giga. Hey, what's up YouTube? My name is Lance and I'm back with another video on Ark Survival Evolved, and in this video I'm going to be showing you some explained early game PvP so you can die less and win more engagements. If you enjoy or learn something new at any point, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, it really helps me out a lot. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes and let's get right into it. Alright, so in early game PvP, there's 5 main things that are really hard to survive. Those being fall damage, flamethrowers, enemy dinos or PvE, raiding or defending, and points of interest, meaning like ice caves, places where a lot of people are going to want to be. Another point of interest could be things like rock golem, where you go to get better loot, or gen missions, or wherever you're going to be contesting other people for an area. Now that we know the main ways that we're going to be dying, how do we counter that? And the first being fall damage. The best way to counter fall damage is either parachutes, cinema crops, grapples, and water. In this clip, I had pulled up on this cave because I had noticed that there was a guy outside and I wanted to PvP him. I pre-bullet my bat so that way there's about a 6 to 8 second debuff where it can't get bullet again. I hop on it as soon as I'm able to and I go for a pick on him. He tries to snowball freeze me, but I picked him off and started attacking him. He netted my bat. I wasn't expecting that. I do have a net gun in my inventory, but it's pretty early in the game, so I didn't think that he would also have one. That was my first mistake. Never underestimate your opponents. Luckily I had a parachute on me, so I wasn't able to take any fall damage, but the problem is I only had one parachute. So I wasn't able to cut it and fall down the hill quicker, and I also had no grapples to pull myself up the hill. This RG picked me and I netted him, and I tried to pull out a torch to hit him on the way down, but I noticed that there was way more people outside now. I throw out my dimorph to distract them while I try to hop on my bat, and I noticed that this guy was hitting it with I think it was a stone arrow or something, but it made my bat very low. I try to get a pick on one of them so that way they get distracted, but I noticed that my bat's at around 1k HP. I really don't want it to die because that's my only way of getting out of here, so I decided to disengage through the trees using them as concealment. I hid through the trees as best I could, staying low to the ground so it's really hard to see from above, and staying along the sides of mountains. Once I knew the coast was clear, I turned on my orbital cam so that way I could see behind me, and I seen that they weren't following me, so I knew I was good. In this clip I came up on a raft and I didn't know how many people were on the inside, but I knew that there was at least one, so I bullied my bat and I tried to go in for a pick on them to see how they would react. Bolas are the main thing that people use early game because they don't have access to net guns, so it's always good to try to pre-bola before you go in. So right here I got bullied by them, and for some reason it put me below my bat. I don't know why, but I held Y on it and I pulled the bola off while they were attacking it, and then I was able to hop back on and pick one of them and take him up. Notice how I'm flying straight up in the air, so that way if he does escape, he has to fall all that way and take the fall damage. Once I kill that guy, I swoop down and I do the exact same thing. One thing I could have done differently is flamed him if I had a flamethrower, or I could have had lifesteal on, but he breaks free. I hit him on the way down, and when he hits the ground he takes fall damage and he dies. I was able to secure both kits and then raid the raft immediately after. Another thing that saved me from fall damage plenty of times, like I've done this with random trees on the ground or rocks, is just grappling. If you can grapple to a wall, then you're able to stop yourself from taking fall damage. Another thing is have over 500 HP, because if you do, you can survive a fall from any height. The last thing that's going to save you from taking fall damage is going to be water. If you don't have parachutes, always try to PvP over the water. The next item on the list is going to be flamethrowers. Love them or hate them, they are very hard to survive early game, especially if you don't have things like a tech canteen. The reason why they're so good early game as well is because you can use them in single target engagements or multiple targets, and they also have a very long range, plus they do a ton of damage and take no skill to use. In this clip, my bat had got netted and there's multiple people trying to attack me, so I just pulled down my flamethrower and started flaming everyone that was around me. That guy picked me on a bat, so I whipped him off, so he was forced to have to go on the ground. And every single time I see someone, I just flame him a bit and run off to go to the next one. While they're being cooked off by the flame, I'm able to attack the other people that are there to get them low as well. Once I flame someone twice, after the first flame is completely done, I know that they're at least half HP and the next flame will kill them for sure. Because I used a flamethrower, they weren't able to get close enough to hit me, and all I had to do was survive while the flame does his damage. I ended up picking this guy and pulling out my flamethrower so I could try to roast him while he was being picked, but he had whipped me off. I pulled out the RPG because I figured I could blow him up with one rocket, but then I figured, nah, he's probably low, he took a little bit of fall damage, I could just flame him and kill him the rest of the way and get the kill. For this clip, me and this guy had picked each other off of our bats, and as we were falling down, I popped a parachute so I wouldn't take very much fall damage, but I noticed that he didn't pop a parachute. So he took a lot of fall damage. I know he's going to be low, but he just instantly run towards me with a flamethrower, so I don't want to get burned by it. I'm keeping my distance as best as I can and trying to net him, so that way he's forced to have to protect himself. After that, I seen him put away his flamethrower, so I knew it was a perfect time to pull out mine, so that way I could get the jump on him and burn him first. He ends up running away from me, giving me a chance to cut my bat free, and I was able to pick him, but he does try to flame me and I drop him so I don't take any flame damage. As soon as I dropped him, I knew we were high enough up that if he hit the ground and he didn't pop a parachute, he was gonna die to fall damage, but this time he does pop a parachute and he whistles his bat on follow. I seen where he was and I hit him in the air one more time and I was able to collect him. So next time you see someone pull out a flamethrower on you, you want to keep your distance, make them have to sprint so they can't use their flamethrower, and you want to make them have to protect themselves, like either net them or bola them so that way they're forced to have to protect themselves instead of attacking you. And if you do get burned, run to water if you don't have a tech canteen. The next thing on the list that you're more than likely going to die to is going to be enemy dinos or PvP. I've gone over this in a few of my other videos, but an underrated method is netting someone's tame and then whipping their cutter out their hand so that way they're unable to use it. I use this method all the time, and honestly I think it's super broken because not very many people run to cutters, and it's a super easy way to make people not be able to use their tames whenever you don't have one. Some more helpful items to help you counter against enemy dinos are going to be net gun whip, Z's, bolas, weight grappling, and combos. The next way a lot of people are going to die early game is going to be trying to raid or defend your base. When raiding early game, the most helpful things are going to be art throws, rafts, gas bags, and rock elements. The reason why art throws are so good is because you can whistle them attack target on things, and if all their turrets are on survivors only, it can freely walk inside their base and destroy whatever you whistle it to. Another thing that they're really good for is clearing spam early game, so that way you don't have to waste resources blowing up foundations outside their base. The reason why I say rock elements and gas bags are one of the best early game soakers is because they both take reduced damage to turrets, and they both start out with a very high amount of HP at tame. Yes, stegos are of course the best soaker early game, but for the most part, rock elements are going to have way more HP than imprinted stegos. The reason why I say rafts are so good early game for raiding is because you can raid ocean plats with it, you can raid other rafts with it, and there's so many different builds you can do to hide your player and mesh the raft into buildings. One of the first early game raids I ever did was with a raft, and we raided a tech base that was built on a lake. We built a raft on the other side of the lake and then swam a tube straight into the base where I was able to walk up, place C4, and then drive the raft away. If you didn't know this exploit with rafts, you're able to put a ceiling on the edge of a raft and then snap a foundation under the ceiling and then pick the ceiling up afterwards. By doing this, the foundation will stay there and you can continually build outwards until it says too far from the platform. Another thing that you can use rafts for is soaking underwater heavies or any heavies that you can get a raft over. Because the heavies try to shoot your player through the bottom of the raft blocks the bullets and takes no damage. Therefore, you can infinitely soak with just using some wood, fiber, and hide. When defending early game, if you don't have any dinos, the best things that are going to save you is going to be Plan X, bear traps, and having some solid foot PvP. The last thing that is really hard to survive, especially early game PvP, is securing either your base spot or a point of interest. This could either be like lava golem, or it could be an ice cave on island. Basically places where a lot of people are going to be contesting you for it. If you really want to take it over, the best things to do is put stone foundations on the inside, storage boxes with the the cords of where the foundations are, so that way if they break, you know exactly where they are. You can do this by putting a foundation down and then put a storage box right next to it and then snapping another foundation over the top of the storage box. Then all you gotta do is pick up the first one you placed, and if they destroy the foundation, they're more than likely gonna break the storage box below it at the exact same time, and all you gotta do is check your logs and see what coordinates that storage box is broke at. Another method that this is really good for is if you put a storage box under your spam off in the corner somewhere where you know no one's gonna need to break it for anything, and you can remember which one it is, you're able to run back over to that foundation after fast traveling outside your base, demo it, and then pull out a fresh kit from the outside and be able to attack them from the outside of your base with a kit. With the new Fyodor Hawks being in the game, another really good method to raid someone is put sleeping bags in the back of their cave that you know people are going to build in. Once they build up on the inside, all you got to do is fast travel with a kit or whatever items you need to the back of their cave and then either wipe them or fob them from the back. Another method that I've heard people use to defend their base is named narc traps, and the reason why is not to knock someone out, but to use it as a tech sensor because you can name it and see where it's broke at. Now that you know how to survive the early game PvP, these next couple clips will be just me explaining some clips from my earlier videos. So right here, this is the very first day of Fyodor launching, and we had just tamed some bats, so it was time to go on the hunt and try to find some loot. We came across this stone raft, and there was a guy that was simple pistol shooting my friend on the bat, so I knew he was going to be the first guy that I had to kill. I picked him, took him really high up in the air and hit him a few times, and I figured he didn't have any parachutes, so I dropped him, but he did have some parachute. I hit him a couple times on his way to the water, and I tried to go for a pick, but he ended up falling in the water. And I know there's two people, so I instantly go for the next person. I don't want to waste any time looking for that guy if I know I can just kill this guy next. He tries to hit my bat with a torch, and I didn't know if he could hit my player, so I ended up dropping him. While he's falling through the air, we're trying to chase him and hit him on his way down, but he pops another parachute so he doesn't take fall damage. I tried to go for a couple picks on him, but for some reason I couldn't grab him, and then eventually I did, and I instantly fly straight up. So if he escapes, he either has to pop another parachute or die to fall damage. He ends up throwing a couple bolas, and I didn't want to get bolaed that high up, so I dropped him, and then he did die to fall damage. I didn't want them to either drive away on the raft or get away with any of the loot, so we destroyed all the bags on the inside, so they're forced to have to stay here and fight. With one guy dead and two more remaining, I picked one of them and brought him up into the air and killed him. After that, I instantly swooped down and grabbed the other guy because he was distracted and not paying attention, and I just bit him a couple times. I'm holding him in the air telling my friend to also bite him so we can kill him, and eventually he dies and we're able to get all the kits. For this clip, my friends had been following this raft and I seen the hatch frame on top was open, so I picked a guy that was climbing the ladder and I dropped him in the water, and I tried to land on their raft to hop in, but a naked guy climbed up with a torch. He started hitting me while I was trying to fall through the hole, and it wouldn't let me, so I decided to try to kill him, or at least get him away from the hole so I could fall in. Eventually he ended up dying, and it was giving me an opportunity to drop inside, and as soon as I seen this guy, he was in full flak. There was no way I was going to be able to kill him with arrows or anything, so I pulled out the torch so that way I could do damage to him through his flak. He started to notice that he was taking damage, so he pulled out his pike and started attacking me, but I'm hitting him and then backing up, hitting him and then backing up. And the reason why I'm doing that is because he breaks my flak, and I'm really not trying to die to him because I know it's going to take the torch a minute to burn him and kill him. Once that guy was dead, I instantly went for the beds and it was a wrap. For this clip, I was trying to hit a poly run, but I heard someone TP to the outside of the cave, so I'm keeping my eye on the entrance to see if they're in a peek or walk up, and I'm just trying to get as much poly as I can before I have to try to fight these people, but I heard them try to teleport out. So I instantly hopped on my bat and tried to attack him. I do hit this lag point right here, and it's so bad on every single cave on this map. But I see that one guy is kitted, he has flak on and stuff. I go for him so that way I could try to get any good things that he had. And I take him up so that way he tries to die to fall damage. I see him pull out a weapon. At the time I didn't know if it was a crossbow or if it was a net gun, and I didn't run to get netted, so I dropped him. And I instantly went for the other guy so that way he couldn't buy him teleport out. I knew this guy was going to try to hide in the trees, so I went for a pick to see if I could grab him, and I couldn't. I didn't know where he was at the time, so I did the screech on the bat so that way it would parasaur ping where he was. I tried to pick him through the trees and it wouldn't let me, so I went around the other side, picked him, hit him a couple times, and I was able to get the kit. Right here I had came across an enemy base and there was a guy trying to go on the inside, so I tried to pick him and take him out, but they closed the door on me and I was forced to have to stay inside and fight. The first thing I tried to do was as much damage as possible before I died, so I instantly went for their storage boxes, and the theory was trying to kill me, so I tried to stay on the ceiling as best I could, but I got hit by a dilo. I was blind for a bit, so I just stayed in one spot, hitting RT, trying to kill whatever was below me, and just staying on the ceiling so that way very little things could attack me back. I found a little cubby spot that I could hide in and orbital cam around, see what I need to do next, and I tried to get a few kills on him to see if I can get a break and get around the base. I was trying to kill as many dinos as I could so that way they weren't able to attack me with them. I had noticed the guy on the theory was blocking the door, but he was in range that I could pick him off, so I went in, picked him off real quick, and killed him. At this point I didn't really have a plan on what I was going to do. I was just going to try to kill as many people as possible and deal as much damage as possible. At some point while I was chilling on the roof, I seen that some guy had grappled up, and I tried to hit him with a couple of trank arrows to see if I could knock him out, but I seen that he was throwing bullets and I really didn't want to get bullied, so I bullied him and then instantly pulled out my torch to try to kill him. I start hitting him a couple times with the torch, but then I noticed that he was in hide, so while the torch was doing damage, I could just pull out a hatchet and deal even more damage to him while he's being burned. After that guy died, I had no knowledge of what this cave looked like, but I knew that there was a narrow hallway down this way, so I was hoping that the theory wasn't going to be able to follow me, and I ran down the hallway as fast as I could to try to find a spot to hide. Once I had ran inside the main part, I noticed that it was a complete circle and there wasn't really anywhere I could hide. I was hoping I could knock this guy out or kill him while the theories stuck in the hallway, and then I was able to fight them separately. The theory somehow got on the inside, so I ran past him and tried to go back through the hallway to where I was to try to hide or just break his ankles and separate him as much as I could. In this moment, I'm literally just trying to do anything I can to survive and do as much damage as possible to these guys. So I'm sitting here brainstorming, trying to think of what I'm gonna do because I am trapped. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, and I'm stuck right here in the corner. Theory's on its way, so I place a bear trap to try to see if I can get one of them stuck in it. And I see this guy on the right side. The theory ran past me, so I just tried to run back down the hallway. I'm trying to buy me as much time as I can and hide anywhere I can. I had asked some of my friends to come help me at the very start of me trying to fight these guys, but I didn't think any of them were gonna come, so I was just trying to survive for as long as I could until either one came or I died. I made a very big mistake right here because I was trying to put one of them on a timer and I could have just knocked him out or something. He was naked, and by doing that I revealed my location. I tried to hide behind this other foundation and that same guy ran past me again, but the theory seen where I was and I knew he was just gonna kill me. At this point I just said fuck it, like I just need to die and re-kit to come back. This time when I came back, I brought one of my friends with me and a proper PvP kit and raiding items. We hopped off, threw some grenades at the entrance so that way we could run inside, but once the grenades blew up, we didn't realize that there was turrets on the inside. They had built turrets in the time that it took for me to re-kit and come back. So now we're in a situation. They got turrets at the entrance, we're in Prim Flak, there's not very much we could do. So I decided to orbital cam and see where the generator's at. If the generator's in a really bad spot, I could probably just fly in and hit it with my bat and either break the cables, outlet box, or generator. Once I orbital camped, I was able to see that the generator and the outlet box were in the same place that I was hiding in before, up in the ceiling. So I knew if I switched my flak and I flew in there on my bat, I could probably swipe and hit the outlet cables and break it. So that's exactly what I did. I flew in, went up against the ceiling, smacked the cables, and everything went down. After that, it was literally just a free meat run and we could come in and destroy everything. If you want to see more videos like this, or if you learned something new, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. Let's try to get this video to 100 likes, and I'll see you in the next one. I keep 100 racks out my jeans.